Self-love looks different for individuals at different stage of their growth journey. And there's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to how to give yourself self-love. If there's someone that tells you that this is the formula for self-love, then I think you better run. Have there been any time in your lives where you maybe are not very satisfied about how I am in my career?
You started to make quite a bit of money. I think there were months where it was almost on par or even more than mine.
I always felt that, wow, I wanted to at least be on par with you. I don't want to lose out. I want to at least earn as much as you earn so that I can have equal say in the relationship.
The way where you were able to generate the income and the way you were able to do well in my eyes made me a bit jealous.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Curious and Courageous Planet podcast episode 3. Okay, we need to cheers because it's our 3rd episode already.
Cheers!
So what's today's topic?
Today's topic is gonna be about how do we know if we love each other.
Wow, such an exciting topic.
And for a bit of context, we have been together for I think 12 years. And 10 years is dating and 2 years is marriage. We're gonna hit the 2 years mark soon lah.
For our dating anniversary lah. But we have already just passed our 1-year wedding anniversary.
Yeah. So 1.5 years. One thing that I think a lot of people can relate is, how do I know if I really love my partner? What are the telltale signs? Because end of the day, a lot of people are in relationships, but there's always that question, how do I know if I truly love my partner? Yeah.
I guess it's a very tricky question.
Yeah.
I mean, be it whether you're in a 1-month relationship, 3 years relationship, 10 years relationship, I think this question always comes up regardless. Even as a therapist, I do hear my clients ask this question in sessions as well.
Wow.
And I guess it's a topic that maybe we will be answering today.
So, one thing that we saw also online and studies have shown is that one of the major things, we're not saying this applies for everyone, but you can take it with a grain of salt. One of the major things is, do you keep tabs on your partner? Meaning to say, do you keep a scorecard? This time he did something for me, plus. This time he did something for me, bad, minus. So is there a scorecard? So we're being very honest and transparent here. Do we keep a scorecard between each other?
I think during maybe university days, I must have to say that some periods, right? I think I do, especially when I watch this movie or drama, I cannot remember where, they say that, okay, how you know it's time to break up with your partner is when they do 99 things that breaks your heart.
Wow.
So when you reach the 99 and onwards, right, then, okay, break up. I cannot remember what was the movie already.
So I saw the movie, but did I eventually hit 99 things?
But I lost count.
You lost count?
If I were to count, you definitely hit more than 99.
Wow, so I survived that.
Yeah, so I think there are periods in my life where I do this sort of tab keeping. I guess we all do at some point.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's true. I think for me also, I do keep tabs back when we were dating.
Really? When?
Yeah, because I think how something can even be as trivial as how much did I spend, or what is the things I did for you, and sometimes maybe also expecting something back in return. Yeah, if I'm completely honest.
So your love for me is not unconditional.
I think it's not mature. Yeah, it's not mature yet. Back then, and I mean 10, 12 years ago, we were what? We just started university.
We were in uni year 1, end of year 1 we got together.
Apparently, I'm not that fast to mature because I like to play when I was still young, and I think back then we had a lot of ups and downs, right? So if
a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe if we draw our ups and downs on a chart, right, it will probably
it's more volatile than Bitcoin.
Yeah, and it's probably, but thankfully it's more of an outward trend if I look back in the last 12
Bitcoin
years.
also.
I mean, if not, we won't be here recording this also, right?
True lah. And I think it's also a caveat that if you find out you're keeping tabs, right, it's not to say must immediately break or anything. It's just something to think about. Not to say we need to think about breaking up, but something to think about where we are in our own journey, in our own state of health when we're in a relationship.
Actually, why do we keep, I think it's a good question. Why do you think we keep tabs in the past, especially when we are in our immature stages of love, right? What is your motivation behind keeping tabs?
I think that's a very good question. And it's not scripted, but I think it's a very good question because I did think about that, right? And one of the main things I feel is the lack of self-love. And it's not to say, oh, I love myself and I don't care if you love me or not. It's more of like, I have that need of validation from my partner to show that I'm accepted, I'm loved. And when I feel like back then when I was feeling that, I think I didn't have enough self-confidence and self-love for myself. My JC days, my secondary school days, it was also it revolves around a lot of other people's like validation. Always get into fights, always get into like cliques and all this because we want to feel connected and accepted. I think it's a very innate human need, but I think a lot of times, how much of it do we derive from within, right, our own bodies, our own soul? I think that is something that I lacked a lot. So that's why, like, when I do something for you last time, you know, like, shit. Yeah, I do something for you last time. Maybe the need for like validation, reciprocation is stronger because I lacked the self-worth last time.
It was the underlying motivation.
I think
that
the
was
underlying.
unconscious to you back then. Wow, you have grown quite a bit. Matured quite a
I mean,
bit.
12 years is a long time. So what about you? Like, what do you think was why you keep tabs?
Very similar. I think at the very core, we are all driven for a need of love. When we think about all unmet needs, right? Be it attention, care, to be heard, to be seen, all of this, I think you can use the word love to actually encapsulate. So for me, it's the same, right? At that point in time, I didn't know who I was. I wasn't secure within myself. So I tend to seek love outside of me. So then, if you didn't do this thing, right, it just means that you don't love me. Or,
Minus point.
yeah, then, you know, it's like my sense of self gets threatened, or I don't feel secure. I don't feel
secure.
loved. I don't feel a sense of safety. So I would kind of then mistake that I will kind of read that as a sign of danger, right? So it's the same thing, it's just it manifests in different ways, right? For you, it's like you tend to get love through giving, expecting something in return. But for me, I tend to get love from testing. I want to test whether or not you're willing to do this for me. I want to test how far will you be able to go for me. You know, I'm able to. Are you able to
Jump
give?
through the hoops and fires.
Yeah, to just kind of like, you know, give me that love, which, you know, I realized over the years, of course, after self-work, self-development, and of course, being a therapist now, you know, putting all of this together, it's all coming to really crave that love, which I have yet to give myself in the past. And I think that's why, you know, this tabs keeping thing was really strong lah.
And I think that's a very important point that you brought up. Now you're a therapist, and I do feel that change as well, right?
Really?
I'm not trying to like plug her like services or what, but I really do feel like ever since she's on this path, there's been changes, and that has really helped our relationship. Especially like for me to also be aware of my internal state lah. So I wanted to ask, right? Like, I'm sure people out there asking, how do people give themselves self-love? Is this too much to ask? The number one tip you would give?
I think it's very hard for me to answer this question because self-love looks different for individuals at different stage of their growth journey. And there's no one size fits all when it comes to how to give yourself self-love. If there's someone that tells you that this is the formula for self-love, then I think you better run. It's not something that you can just get a formula to. When someone says, oh, self-love is about trusting yourself, then sit from the perspective of where they are at. And I come to see that each time when I know what is self-love, right? Self-love definition just changes for me throughout the years as well, and throughout my inner journey and stages of growth lah. But let's say you're just starting out on this path. I think if I were to think back about my younger self, how I hope she could have loved herself more, maybe it would be to... you mean in the relationship context or...
Can be just general, yeah.
I think it's to really give herself more space to be with herself instead of always needing her partner to be there, because she would have mistaken that as love, right? But you know, sometimes when you spend time with yourself, it may not be comfortable, but allowing yourself to do that sometimes is the first step to loving yourself, because it's only when you dare to spend time with yourself, even though when it's uncomfortable for many of us, you start to be able to hear some of your inner voice. You may have to face difficult thoughts, intrusive thoughts like, wow, my partner, how come I haven't come back? Is he like with another girl? Wow, my partner, 5 minutes already, haven't texted me, haven't replied my text. Is he doing this on purpose? You will start to be able to see these intrusive thoughts coming in, right? But of course, the easy way out is to have your partner beside you 24/7 all the time, right?
Your anchor.
To kind of just like drown down those intrusive thoughts, but they don't solve those intrusive thoughts. They are just there as like a band-aid, right? If your partner is there with you, especially if you are anxious attachment. So for me, I would think that the way to love yourself, even though it's not a conventional tip, is if you find yourself being very anxious or insecure in a relationship, give yourself the permission to be with yourself and learn how to really, really spend time with yourself. I think that whole journey, even though it's tough, okay, you will come to discover for yourself how to give yourself that love. And it's a tough journey, I'm not gonna lie. If anybody that tells you that self-love is a magical journey of unicorn and rainbows and it's an easy journey, it's about treating yourself to facial and bubble baths, then I think it's really about re-evaluating whether or not you're getting self-love right.
I think that's beautiful. And so essentially what you're saying is everyone's journey is different. There's no one specific top tip to like give yourself self-love.
Yes.
And if there is anything to start with, it is to maybe just be by yourself and really learn to sit with your own internal world, internal feelings. Okay,
caveat. You see, you brought a very good point. Everybody's definition of coming to know themselves and love themselves is different, right? So for that context, right, that I talk about spending time with yourself is maybe if you're someone who is anxious, if your partner is not there with you 24/7. But for other people who are more towards the avoidance spectrum, meaning to say maybe you are more avoidant than I do, right? You crave your own space. You are the kind that wants to disappear 365 days away from your partner because, that is your way of maybe escaping from the relationship, from conflicts. Then self-love for that person may mean trying to spend more time putting themselves in the context where conflict may occur, because that would be something quite challenging for the other person. So it really, therefore I say it really depends what does, therefore it really depends
on the individual's context.
On the individual context.
All right. Well, that wasn't the answer I was expecting, because I really wanted to ask her to put this into a short so that it can go viral, but it's unscripted. So what she says actually also makes sense, in a sense everyone's journey is different. So tips to your wellness, to your internal world, all these kind of things, it's really dependent on who you are as a person. There's no one size fit all. That's very true, because for me, right, back then when we had a rough patch, I'm the avoidant type, so I would just go to casinos and I would just go there because I like to be in a crowd where no one knows me, and then I just go there and just gamble, sit on the table and slowly like gamble and stuff. Because I can just focus on the game, I can just like be in my own bubble and just away from all contact. Because in the casino, to me, it's like a different world. So it's like I'm escaping my own world to go to the casino to just... So you see me in the casino, right? Most likely I'm probably like facing a very midlife crisis.
So I have a question. If you were to go self back then, what would you think is self-love for yourself at that stage of your journey?
I think I would try to pluck up the courage to call a friend, to really like sit there and talk about my emotions, and to not be afraid to take up some space, which now is still a bit hard to do, but I think that's something that I might have done differently.
Yeah, you see, so that is self-love for you at that particular stage and context, and
or bring them to the casino.
Attachment type that you are in at that point in time.
Yeah. So I agree, different contexts, it's really different for everyone for self-love, but it's important to be aware how much self-love we give ourselves, right?
And why is it important to give yourself this self-love? Is, people might say it's selfish, self-love is selfish because why are you loving yourself? You should be loving others instead. But I guess, right, the whole point of self-love, now that I have been like maybe 6 years into my journey, still a tough one, but I come to realize that the whole point of self-love is so that you can actually love others better. And I realized that the true kind of genuine love that you can give to others will only be possible if you have self-love for yourself.
Cliche as it sounds, but it is something that I think for people really struggling with giving self-love, it is a really hard struggle. And the hardest struggle is choosing between two people you love, and then like, you know, like you have to sacrifice one or the other in your mind, and you know, you think that you are going against your values for the ones you love. You know, this kind of tug of war, sacrifice your values in replace to like please the other person you love. It will seem like that, and it's tough to choose yourself. I just want to say that no, don't be afraid to choose yourself, and we like to encourage everyone to give yourself some self-love.
Yeah, even though initially it may look very selfish, even for yourself
Yeah.
and in the eyes of others, but just know that that is a process in order for us to truly come to know ourselves, embrace ourselves. That process, to me, even when I look back, it was a very lonely journey initially. Nobody really understood what I was doing. Sometimes you can even be criticized for being too selfish, too much, or needing too much time alone. But trust me, okay, the rewards, the payoffs might come back only a few years later. You know, like when you are really well recharged, when you are really radiant inside out, when you actually come to know who you are and be so rooted in your core because you have found it, I think that actually radiates outwards effortlessly. And to be honest, I find that my relationship with not just you, but also my family, my friends, and you know, other people in my life actually improve. And along the way, I've also lost many people in my life as well. I think that's the grief that, you know, maybe we can spend another video talking about it.
So that's a very like beautiful thing. And I think in the report as well, there's a second question that couples can ask themselves, right? Do you feel happy when your other partner is achieving their goals and their dreams? Right? Do you feel happy for that? Genuinely feel happy.
Of course.
It is I also feel of course. But it is an important question as well, because it's it's that idea of like feeling genuinely happy for the other half, because whatever they achieve, it's something that brings joy to both parties, it radiates to both parties. So that's something that I think the study says that people can also check on their checklist, right? Of course, also grain of salt, it's just a discussion topic, not say that, oh, I don't feel happy for you this moment, that means I don't love you, but it's good to know how you genuinely feel about the success of the other party. Right.
So there are people, or rather there are couples, that they don't feel happy about each other's success.
It could be from a perspective out of love.
Yeah.
Example, if the other party does a job, example, maybe some jobs like their taboo are like maybe insurance, or maybe some taboo jobs like food panda delivery, or no, people who feel it's not those spectacular jobs. You know, like some parties might not feel happy for people who do very well in that field, because they might feel that no, there's no progression, or they have their own perspectives of certain jobs. Not saying that which job is good or bad, but I think in general there are stereotypes to certain job types. So some couples or maybe some partners might feel that, hey, why not their partner do something that is kind of aligned with their perspective?
I guess this brings me to something I'm curious to understand about. Have there been any time in your lives where you maybe are not very satisfied about how I am in my career, or my personal, success? And I guess we can answer honestly, truthfully for both of us.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, because I think we have never talked about this topic.
We have never talked about this topic. And I think, there was only one time that I feel not very happy for your success.
For my success? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think back then, because I'm not gonna, it's just gonna be very honest thoughts, right? But that time, I think when you went into Hays, or you went to like HR recruitment, you started to make quite a bit of money. I think there were months where like it was almost on par or even more than mine. They know like I will feel very competitive. I'll feel like, oh, like my ego will be shaken, that kind of thing. Earning power, I think it was like 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when you had that situation, I felt, I was a bit...
at least 7 years.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt...
Started.
Yeah. You know, I just started working competitive, and I think back then I was also a bit immature, and the way where you were able to generate the income and like the way you were able to do well in my eyes made me a bit like jealous. Yeah.
Oh my God, now that you say this, right, I guess it's the same for me. I guess when we first started working, maybe I think 6, 7 years
Are you
ago.
copying me or you really feel this way?
Really. I mean, I always felt that, wow, I wanted to at least be on par with you. I don't want to lose out. You know, I want to at least earn as much as you earn so that I can have equal say in the relationship.
Equal say.
I don't want to kind of like, because of having a lower income, have a different decision-making power and all of that. But you see, that now that you say we actually mirror each other, and I think that dynamic there wasn't very healthy lah. Things have changed a lot already since then, but I think I also do have this sort of, I wouldn't say dissatisfaction, or rather I wouldn't say, oh, I have this unhappiness when you earn more than me, but it's more of this worry and fear. It's more of that, and it can manifest, of course, in arguments, in conflicts, in feeling insecure again.
Wow.
So again, it goes back to why do we feel that way?
Yeah.
And then as compared to now, how has it changed? Yeah,
Wow.
for you.
It's quite crazy because in our 12 to 13 years of relationship, we have never spoken to each other about this before.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good to know lah, because it's not good to know like as in it will change anything now, but it's also good to communicate, I feel. Right. Sometimes also like side note, people say the key to success in marriage is to communicate, right? But sometimes actually I feel it goes a lot more deeper than that, because to communicate is one thing, but to communicate your internal thoughts and where you are, where's your headspace at, it takes another level of self-awareness. And I think that communication, only then will communication help the relationship to understand each other better.
Right. So having this kind of worries, fears, and even dissatisfaction for some people, it may not even be that unnatural. It may not even be so-called bad, right? It's maybe only natural, right? But it's maybe this is the platform, or rather catalyst, for the relationship to even go deeper, or for us to even have things to talk about, you know? Yeah, but I'm just curious, how do you think that has changed over the next few years in our relationship? Because obviously now you don't feel that way, right?
Maybe I'm still very competitive.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. No, so I think over the years, right, like apart from being competitive, over the years I've seen how Jeanette has grown and how like she tries to stay authentic to her journey. It's damn hard because it's like, because for her, a bit of context is she quit her HR job for taking a career break, then after that transition to a totally new field. And I think that takes a lot of courage. And seeing her do this actually made me feel for her. Even though there were more uncertainty in terms of like earnings or savings together as a couple, I felt that at that point of time, the courage to do that, right, to me was like, as long as whatever she does, I'll try to support as much as I can. And really, you know, like, it's not smooth sailing also. We do have our different views. Not like, oh, I just support her all the way. Of course, we also have my views on maybe she can do things in this way, that way. But I think at the end of the day, she helped her authentic self throughout the journey as much as she can. And I think over the years, seeing her thrive in the field she's in, and being, to me, I feel that you're in your ikigai, you fulfill all the boxes, and seeing you happy and thrive is something that, of course, I feel happy for you. So I don't know how it changes, but I think it changes over time when I see you really like thriving and taking the courage to take that step.
For me, I think, I mean, like when you say that, right, I kind of got a bit emotional because of the images of my journey actually just flood back up. But I guess, right, when I am so into my own passion and my own ikigai, the way you name it, or my authentic journey, to me, this money thing just kind of went out of the way. I wasn't comparing with anyone anymore. It feels like I was just so into my craft, into my journey, into how I want to manifest the dream life that I kind of want without needing to take anything away from anyone, right? Because when you succeed, it's not that you put others down. I come to learn that there's enough space for everyone, right? Then that whole competitive energy actually, or rather that fear or that worry, just didn't take the driver's seat anymore. In fact, I was earning so much lower than you for so many years, right? When I first started my journey, but it didn't seem to bother me. In fact, the fear dissipated away, even though I was so significantly earning so much lesser. But I guess it's because there's a greater force that was driving me as well, like this journey of authenticity, of coming to discover my passion. And this is not, I always tell people, or rather my friends, that this is not just a job to me, a career or a dream for me. This is an inner journey for me. And I think everything that I've manifested on the outside is just a result of that inner work. But the inner work is always the thing that I am following and is the path that is driving me lah. So I come to realize what changed for me is that I started to see both of us as one more than both of us as separate entities trying to compete against each other. When I started to see us as one, I don't know when this perspective started to shift. It was somewhere along the way. I think of course, everything is very hard to pinpoint what caused what and all of that. But it was during this whole entire 5-6 years journey that I gradually started to see us as one entity. So, when we take this perspective, there's no way that your success will be a threat to me, and there's no way that my struggles, I think in the last 5 years, I've been through a lot of struggles. My struggles will be a threat to you as well, because it's just what is, and we need to try to give resources as and when, whoever needs it at different stage of our journey lah. So I'm quite thankful that this perspective actually kicked in somewhere in our journey.
Wow, I like to emphasize that part where I say, viewing us as one. I think that's very beautiful. So, wow.
Yeah, and I think it's because of this oneness that fear dissipates, competitive energy dissipates, but there's really more collaboration, supportiveness, and knowing that there's no win-lose. It's either win or lose-lose, right? When you see yourself as one. And I think this is maybe something that, of course, is not entirely easy to come to adopt. It wasn't an overnight change.
Yeah.
But I think it's really something that if you are gradually working towards as a couple, I would think that a lot of things might start to shift, from your day-to-day to even the way you manage finances to how we view each other, and even how we tackle conflicts. It feels like a religion in its way. You see two individuals within the relationship as one.
True.
Right? It feels a little bit spiritual or religious to
it's
some
like
extent.
the internal belief is there.
Yeah.
It's an internal belief kind of thing. And I think that really sums up beautifully how, I guess, our relationship progressed over the years, and also how we can know that even though, looking back, different stages of our relationship, there were things that were a bit off, or there were things that we were competitive or maybe not so healthy for the relationship.
Right. It's either you win or I win. If I lose, then you win. If you win, then I lose.
Like got one winner, one loser.
Yeah.
So even though things were then, but we still managed to evolve, and I guess for the better, make things work out.
Yeah.
And I'd like to encourage everyone also that these two questions of, do we feel happy for our partner, and also what's the first one? Do you keep the score with your partner, right? So, and
I guess before you end off, right, I just have something to add also. Seeing each other as one doesn't mean that you do everything together. It's not a sense of dependency. It's not a sense of codependency. But that said, I also believe in healthy support and collaboration. That means we are humans, we rely on each other, and when we are in a relationship, we sometimes help each other co-regulate, we co-support each other, we co-collaborate. But it's never that kind of totally losing yourself, and it's total what is that word?
Entanglement, and
I think
trying to be one.
Is a better word. It's not that being one. So it's I just wanted to make that clarification. It's not entanglement, but rather more of seeing you guys having a mutual goal, and there's no win-lose, but rather there's only win-win or lose-lose.
Like separate entities but still coexisting together in a...
It's sort of like you guys, right? Instead of having our individual scoreboards on each other, we both have
a team board,
right, towards life, and how can we increase that team board together? Sometimes you will make mistakes, you will fall. I will be maybe having a harder time in my career, you might be having a harder time in your career, then the scoreboard is going to fluctuate. But how do we play as a team? I think it's that sort of idea that we are bringing out when we talk about seeing each other as one rather than, me versus you.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's very nicely put, because end of the day, we don't want to really lose ourselves and just to be totally entangled with one another. Right? Still want to have a sense of self. That goes back to self-love, and also then we are able to better love each other.
Yeah.
Great. So do let us know your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and subscribe and share.
Yes.
And we will be happy to really see different perspectives from different couples. And again, we're not perfect. We're also on our journey, and we'd like to encourage everyone to stay curious and courageous. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
So I guess if let's say you have any topics that you would like us to discuss about as a couple, or if you would like to find out more about, it could be on relationship, finances, emotional, mental well-being, feel free to just pop it in the comments so that we can make a video to discuss about it as well.
Ciao.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.